one of the things that I've ran into quite often when I'm out on a leak with a utility, or Rick himself has been in the past, one question that always comes up is, when the sensor has zeroed itself out during operation, is the VEU still drawing gas from the probes? Okay, because you got a zero, your probes, are they working? It's got zero. It can be kind of a, a topic of conversation. Basically, what we recommend as a manufacturer and to the utilities. Oh, we got a question.
Dave, why don't we finish that thought, and then we can jump into Michael's question.
Okay, perfect. So when you have the zero on the sensor, what you can do is, when you're running it, just check the probe holes and see if the gas levels are going down. That's where Rick was just talking about using your CGIs as a crucial tool when you're out on a leak. So you have 6 bar holes. You take notes on what each bar hole is reading: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You write 25, 10, 5, 15, whatever, etc. And what you do is, once that's zeroed out, is you're running the VEU at optimal performance with the bypass all the way in, and you can go check. Wait 10 minutes, see what the levels are doing in those probe holes. So if they're going down, the VEU is doing its job. So you gotta use your other tools at that point to see that the magic is happening and the probes are pulling that gas. So you just use your CGIs, and just always keep in mind that there's an 850 CFM blower. So that is a large amount of vacuum and air mixing with your gas levels at a very high level. So it could ultimately dilute it to a zero, and it's doing its job, essentially. So always keep that in mind. You're working a very powerful vacuum, and use your CGIs if that is the case, because it will be doing its job.
So Dave, what I'm hearing is that there is a potential to show zero on a sensor, but not have all the gas out of the ground. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, 100%. So always keep that in mind. CGIs are your best friend on a leak, and take notes. When I'm out there, I always take mental notes or type them in my phone on bar holes. If you're trying to pinpoint a leak, whatever hole is still holding gas levels, that's probably where your leak is. So that's kind of the way, we approach that out in the field.
That's a great point, Dave. That's one of the big things I always suggest, which is kind of create yourself a map when you're out on a leak, to try to figure out where the gas is and where the gas isn't. I always try to find absolute zero. So, on your massive leaks, it gets a little bit harder when you're talking about, city blocks, but, the ones that are in front of a residence that might be, 20 yards wide, you can kind of walk around and figure out where the gas isn't. And then you can start to try to, pinpoint that, which we'll kind of get into a little bit more.